I have some breaking news. So the President Donald Trump just stated any document signed by Sleepy Joe Biden with the autopen, which was approximately 92% of them, is hereby terminated and of no further force or effect. The autopen is not allowed to be used if approval is not specifically given by the President of the United States. The radical left lunatics circling Biden around beautiful, resolute desk in the Oval Office took the presidency away from him. And if Joe Biden says that he did sign it, then he could be brought up on charges. Anything else that was not directly signed by crooked Joe Biden, because the people who operated the autopen did so illegally, Joe Biden was not involved in the autopen. And again, if he says he was, then he will be brought up on charges of perjury. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Signed, the President of the United States.
Okay, there's a lot in there, so we need to talk about it. Let me explain the facts. First, something like this would probably have to be written in some kind of executive order to take effect. President Trump probably cannot do this or declare this to be so strictly by a post on his social media page. So we can probably expect an executive order that reflects this when he gets back to Washington, D.C. Now, this doesn't mean that Trump can't do this. He probably can, especially when it comes to certain things. Now, every president, I have reported on this, has the right to end the policies of the previous president that were not passed into law by Congress. So President Trump has every right to sign an executive order saying that President Biden's executive orders and policies and memos are all over. We actually saw Trump do this on his very first day in office. He canceled dozens of Biden orders, memos, and policy by signing just one executive order. But there's one category that President Trump probably cannot touch, whether President Biden used an autopen or not. And that is on pardons and clemency. Pardons and clemency are an explicit and unchecked power that the United States Constitution gives the President of the United States. Those things cannot be undone, even if the next president doesn't like it. There's nothing wrong or illegal about presidents using the autopen. The autopen is generally used when a president is away from the White House and cannot physically be there to sign legal documents. There's actually a 2005 legal opinion from President George W. Bush's Department of Justice that says presidents can absolutely use the autopen as long as they are the ones directing their subordinates to use it on their behalf. And every single president since then has used the autopen. President Bush did, President Obama did, obviously President Biden did, and President Trump himself has used the autopen a lot, especially during his first term. Now, there's one caveat to all of this, which President Trump is laser focused on. As I said, according to that 2005 DOJ memo, while the president can use the autopen, he has to be aware that his staff is using it and has to be the one directing them to do so, right? Obviously, the president's staff can't just use the autopen whenever they feel like to execute documents and executive orders and pardons. President Trump has said, without any proof or evidence, by the way, that he believes President Biden didn't know his staff was using the autopen. And therefore, Trump believes that Biden's staff were the ones who were actually approving policies and executive orders and pardons and clemency. Now, when Trump brought all of this up over the summer, Biden defended his use of the autopen publicly, calling Trump and any Republican who says that Biden didn't know what was being signed is a liar, and then went on to say, "I made every decision." Today, President Trump said that if President Biden said that again, he would be brought up on perjury charges because, of course, Trump thinks what Biden is saying is not true. Now, I'm not sure how President Trump thinks he can roll up another president on perjury charges. That's a whole different ball of wax we've never seen before. But remember, Trump can undo executive orders and memos and policies whenever he wants, whether they were signed by an autopen or not. If Trump can somehow prove in a court of law, not in the court of public opinion, that President Biden was unaware that his staff was signing off on pardons and clemency with an autopen, then perhaps those can be undone.
I wouldn't have picked Vice President Trump to be vice president, but I think she was not qualified to be president. So let's start there. Number one, I wouldn't have picked Vice President Trump to be vice president, but I think she was not qualified to be president.
So could this be why Trump is saying what he's saying? Listen to that last part again with Biden. Let's not forget about digital ID. Let's not forget about the things that they're preparing for the American people down the road, okay? Total control. This is just a distraction. So I don't know where all of this is going. I do know that it is a distraction. So anytime they start throwing stuff out there just randomly like that, just note something major is also happening in the background. So pay attention, because you'll be hearing about it pretty soon, I'm sure. Stay stocked up. Get stocked up. Get your home in order, because I don't know what's coming down the pipeline, but from this post that he just put out on his Truth Social, it lets me know that something else is about to happen, but they don't want you to pay attention to that, but I do. So turn your notifications on, and as soon as something happens, I'll let you know. Subscribe if you have not, and definitely hit that like button. See y'all in the next video.
Here's to the good days, here's to the sorrows. If this is a mistake, I know about tomorrow. I don't wanna fight no more, cause I don't feel the need no more, no. Just wanna make it stop. Maybe it's something in the